Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a scenario that is just absolutely terrifying, yet completely fascinating. We're going to count down the final moments of our planet, starting from a localized anomaly and ending in a total cosmic catastrophe. Just imagine standing right exactly where you are, breathing the air, feeling the solid ground beneath your feet, completely unaware that the fundamental laws of physics are about to turn against you. What if, out of literally nowhere, a coin-sized black hole just popped into existence right next to you? It is the ultimate apocalyptic scenario. As a helpless witness watching this disaster unfold, you'd have zero time to react, zero time to run. But the exact nature of this catastrophe and how the Earth actually meets its end hinges entirely on one incredibly specific, fatal detail about this anomaly. Okay, let's dive into this because our fate depends completely on whether we're dealing with scenario A or scenario B. Is this anomaly a black hole that merely shares the mass of a coin, weighing in at about 5 grams? Or is it a black hole that shares the physical diameter of a coin, like a standard US nickel? The difference between those two things is the difference between a local tragedy and the total annihilation of our world. Let's look at that first possibility. In scenario A, we have the 5-gram anomaly. If a 5-gram US nickel magically collapsed into a black hole, it would be infinitesimally small. We're talking about a radius of 10 to the power of negative 30 meters. To put that into perspective, compared to an atom, this black hole is as small as an atom is compared to the sun. And because it's so tiny, it has an unimaginably short lifetime. It would decay via Hawking radiation in a fraction of a second, 10 to the power of negative 23 seconds to be exact. It's just a fleeting spark, but it's a spark with a massive consequence. In that microscopic fraction of a second, its 5 grams of mass will convert entirely into energy, releasing 450 terajoules. That translates to an explosion roughly 3 times bigger than the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined. So, yeah, in this scenario, you die instantly. You also lose the coin. But hey, the Earth survives. It's basically a massive, localized false alarm in the grand cosmic scale. But what if it's the physical size of a nickel? If the black hole had the diameter of a common coin, the reality shifts into a true, inescapable nightmare. Because for a black hole to be that wide, it has to be immensely massive. In fact, a black hole the physical width of a nickel would actually be slightly more massive than the entire Earth itself, condensed into a tiny, localized point right next to you. Section 1. Gravity's deadly new rules. The immediate visceral impact. The immediate visceral impact of having an Earth mass object sitting just a few feet away from you is horrifying. The familiar, comforting laws of gravity suddenly become a highly concentrated, localized weapon. This object would possess a surface gravity a billion times greater than what our planet currently exerts. Even though gravity generally extends over the entire observable universe and gets weaker the farther away you are, getting close to an object this dense completely warps your physical reality. Right now, your head and your toes feel the exact same pull. But standing next to a nickel-sized black hole changes that math instantly. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how you meet your end. Step 1. Assuming the black hole is by your feet, they're now hundreds of times closer to its center than your head is. Step 2. Because of that proximity, the gravitational force multiplies by tens of thousands at your feet compared to your head. And finally, step 3. These extreme tidal forces simply rip your individual cells apart. You are violently pulled into a billion pieces, consumed by the anomaly before your brain even has the time to process what's happening. But of course, the black hole doesn't stop with just you. Section 2. Consuming Earth from within. The Earth-Moon Black Hole of Death system. The black hole is now the dominant gravitational piece of a terrifying new arrangement. And as a helpless observer watching this timeline of destruction, the pacing is just incredibly eerie. You might assume the black hole would cleanly sink straight to the center of the planet. But actually, in second 1, the Earth moves up onto the anomaly. Our planet begins this creepy bobbing orbit around it. Minutes later, immense swaths of Earth's mass are just eaten away from the inside with each terrifying pass. Finally, in the closing hours, having been systematically hollowed out from its core, the entire planet collapses. As it's eaten from the inside, our solid, vibrant blue and green world undergoes a tragic visual transition. It collapses into a scattered disk of hot rock. This glowing debris remnant surrounds the black hole in a tight, swirling orbit. It feeds the anomaly continuously, raining hot rock into the void, until the black hole has completely consumed our world, effectively doubling its own mass by the time it's done feeding. Section 3, a terrifying solar system, the cosmic aftermath. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the immense collateral damage echoing across our celestial neighborhood. Now that Earth is gone, reduced to a tightly wound ring of glowing debris, the delicate gravitational dance we once led is ruined. The moon's orbit is suddenly shoved into a highly elliptical path. The intense tidal forces from this new, heavier black hole stretch out and disrupt near-Earth asteroids. It might even tear apart whole sections of the main asteroid belt, sending massive rocks careening wildly through the inner solar system. We're looking at the onset of a new era of commonplace planetary bombarding and violent impacts that will last for the next few million years. As the astrophysicist Matt Kaplan points out regarding the effects on the solar system, it is awesome in the biblical sense, which means terrifying. It's a horrific majesty, a brutal display of astrophysics that completely reshapes our local neighborhood. Yet, amidst all this chaos, there's an eerie calmness to the wider system. The other planets are slightly perturbed, sure, but they largely stay in approximately their same stable orbits. And the most haunting detail? The black hole we used to call Earth, now twice as massive and cloaked in a faint disk of hot dust, will silently continue orbiting the sun exactly in our old place. A ghost planet, tracing the exact same path year after year. Which leaves us with this final lingering thought to close out our explainer. When the dust settles, and our world is nothing more than a coin-sized void carrying the mass of 2 Earths, silently circling our sun, who or what is left out there to observe our ghost planet continuing its silent orbit? Thank you for joining this explainer, and stay curious.